Hey now, we're back with an autograph analysis of a Hall of Famer. I know it seems like forever. Some of you may get flooded as I try to rebrand my channel, but I'm still here focused on autograph analysis of Hall of Famers. Yeah, just Hall of Famers right now. And we are at 2024 first ballot Hall of Famer Joe Mauer. Now, listen, I don't want to take anything away from Joe Mauer. I mean, very interesting. Joe Mauer obviously was a catcher slash first baseman for the Minnesota Twins. He was drafted first overall, six-time All-Star, five-time Silver Slugger Award, three-time AL batting champion. He was a MVP winner. I mean, lifetime 306 average. And I know we talked about this. And Joe Mauer probably is the first of, let's say, the modern catchers to get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, we have Buster Posey, who's up for election next year, and then Molina's coming up. And then I think eventually that will lead to Salvi and maybe even Thurman Munson. I think catchers is a very underrepresented demographic, let's say, of the Hall of Fame. And I think the Hall of Fame is recognizing that. And because of that, the standards to get into the Hall of Fame, I think, are being a little lower for catching, because catching obviously is very tough on the body. Now, what's interesting about Joe Mauer is, I know Minnesota Twins fan will get on here and say he caught a long time. To me, it seems like a quarter of the way, that's sorry, three-quarters of the way is through his career, he switched to first base, which is obviously much easier on the body. Now, you can make an argument that there's no such thing as a first ballot Hall of Famer. Either you're a Hall of Famer or you're not a Hall of Famer. It's really that simple. But when you think about the first ballot Hall of Famer, should be the greats of the game. Joe Mauer is not one of the greats of the game. I mean, I think he's the third first ballot Hall of Famer in the Hall of Fame after like Johnny Bench and Pudge Rodriguez. And Johnny Bench was great. I mean, he's considered the greatest catcher of all time. Pudge Rodriguez also considered an outstanding catcher. Maybe I'm a little partial because with the Tigers. Joe Mauer, I mean, yeah, again, Hall of Famer, no question. I think he's a Hall of Famer eventually. First ballot, I don't know. So that's me getting off my soapbox about Joe Mauer. He's in. So that means we have to take a look at the autograph analysis of none other than Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, Joe Mauer. So as always, switch to my screen. I'm going to go to the PSA autograph database first. So this is a typical Joe Mauer. They only have five in there. Joe Mauer, obviously still fairly young and a relatively good signer. Usually with the Joe Mauers, what you'd like to see today, it kind of swoops up. It's usually just a J and M and kind of like a squiggly line that looks like a W to me. You get a number 7 right here. Now, the key thing is to look for, usually, not always, he hits a hard point right here. You see how it comes up and the hard point drops straight down. The J, the bottom loop, is much bigger than the top. Usually it connects right here. Usually you get the M, and the M, you get a loop right here, or you can see it come up and back down. Again, it's always just a 2-stroke signature. He signed Joe earlier in his career, and we'll look at a couple of those, but mainly it's just the MW and the 7. So again, looking at this one right here, again, a J, you see that hard stop right here. The loop comes out much bigger. I mean, this is kind of odd to me that there's a 2-stroke M right here. I think somehow it's connected. Again, it sort of loops right here. You got that little W squiggly right here at the number 7. Again, he's very easy to forge. And I mean, Ryan has not looked at his autograph yet because it's fairly new. Again, the J right here comes up. You see that hard point, a big loop around into the M, comes right here, loops around, squiggly line, and a number 7. I mean, these all look the same to me, to be honest. They all look good, obviously. They all look the same. See that hard point right here, leaning to the right like it's falling over. I call it like a little bit like a Goose Goslin, where it's falling over. Again, this is kind of a nicer M you're going to see. And again, the squiggly W right here, you get more squiggles than others, and then number 7. Again, these look they're all good. They all look very similar to me. I mean, when I see a Joe Mauer autograph, there should be obviously no hesitation whatsoever. Now, Joe Mauer is a FansHQ exclusive. They are a brand out of Minnesota. If you want to get your item signed, you can see what they're charging. They're charging $139. Obviously, you can go to eBay and get it cheaper. I don't think Joe Mauer was a target of Mr. Mancave. It just makes no sense to me. There were bigger fish to fry than Joe Mauer. Now, obviously, these are all fake signatures on here. There's just a printed on here. But again, anything you get from Fans HQ, I just bought my Louis Herrera's autograph from them. They're good. So again, the signing probably happened recently. But again, in another way, if you want Joe Mauer and you want to get it in person, what I would do is not. I'm spending your money. Every year, he's great at TwinsFest. He goes to TwinsFest. He charges $75. You can see right here, which is for a first ballot Hall of Famer under $100 these days is a pretty good deal. Granted, you got to pay to go to TwinsFest, but again, there's a lot of good deals in my opinion at TwinsFest. I would like you can see right here for TwinsFest, like who was signing. You get Rock Carew and Tony Oliva for $125. What a deal! Carlos Correa for $50. Again, I'm getting off my rocker here in terms of going on a tangent. What I like about TwinsFest. Bottom line is he does TwinsFest like every year, $75. Meet Joe Mauer. I just want to go to Outer Safe again. They do a great job. And here's a couple of fakes. One guy submitted 2 fakes, and these are all over the place. So, I mean, the first thing is they're different because I need the same person signed it. You see, they're 2 different types of jerseys right here. But again, the J comes round. It's not a hard stop. The M is like laughable. It's all over the place. And I don't know why they did this L right here. He doesn't do this L. I don't know what that is right there, but whatever it is, it's bad. So, but again, what they have, again, we talked about these. These are all good. This is an interesting Joe Mauer. Again, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't spend a lot of time looking at Joe Mauer. They said this was good. And it very well maybe this is a very early autograph for Joe Mauer. I mean, it's beautiful if it's real. I have to look at more examples. If he were a Tiger, I may have. I'm pretty sure they said this was real. Safe, yeah. So, yeah, like I said, this is a very early Joe Mauer autograph. Very nice Joe Mauer autograph if you're looking to buy one. But again, I wouldn't spend more than $100 to make sure it's got all the paperwork. And I doubt anyone's faking a Joe Mauer autograph. So, with that being said, that's 7 minutes on Joe Mauer. Theoretically, Willie Mays is next. I did a Willie Mays autograph analysis a long time ago. It's one of the first videos I did. Darren Ravel actually reached out to me about the video when Willie's passed. So I'm not going to do Willie Mays again. But what I am going to do is the last of the MAs, which seemed like forever. And that's Bill Mazeroski. So as always, until next time, keep collecting.